Hey guys, it's Poohead189, and today I am making a new series of videos. Today we're going to be trying to deduce how strong future Gohan was when he died. I know I did a poll asking about what I should call these, and the majority of you said DB info still worked, but it kind of still didn't sit right with me, and I don't think it works to put clips in the beginning of these kinds of videos, so I elected to go with something different. It's not that I don't care what you guys think in polls, I just want to gauge your opinions, and while that might sway my decisions, and honestly it usually does, I still retain the right to do what I'm comfortable with the channel, of course. Anyway, let's get into it. Now, as for future Gohan's strength, there are two different schools of thought. The first school of thought is one the majority of the fandom believes, and it does have merit, and the other school of thought is one I started, actually, back in, I believe, the summer of 2015. It was actually a Dragon Ball debate tournament on the main Dragon Ball forum for English-speaking countries based in the UK, or the main one besides Kanzenshu. Actually, I don't even know if Kanzenshu was a forum then. I don't know. Either way. Although I will say in that forum, debate tournaments like that were very rare. Usually there was just debates. There wasn't like a scoring system or whatever. And it has to be said, it was sort of a strangely made one because you and your opponent were given a topic, like say, was future Gohan strong or weak? And my opponent got the popular position being that he was fairly weak, and I got the unpopular one regarding him as being strong. But I did not mind it because I quite like future Gohan. In fact, he's my second favorite character behind Tien and tied with Goku. And as I thought I would, I lost. But I do distinctly remember the judges thinking my analysis made sense. It's just that my opponent's position was more widely acknowledged, and the Dragon Ball community always takes statements over feats, which I do think should at least somewhat change in Dragon Ball discourse. But today I'm going to present both arguments. The one that is generally more popular, and the one that I kind of pioneered back in the day. And then I'll weigh them in the best, most unbiased way I can, give my current thoughts, and let you guys decide. Although I suppose there are technically three positions people tend to take. The quote-unquote common position that I have seen recently that is inherently wrong, which is that future Gohan was weaker than Yardrat Goku, or at the same strength, which, again, is purely false, and I'll say why soon. Then there are the two real debate positions, that he was barely stronger than Yardrat Goku, or that he was somewhat around, maybe slightly weaker than Android Saga Goku or Vegeta's strength. Goku without being weakened by the heart virus, of course. Okay, so I will explain the first real position, and then I will elucidate why a popular take on that has led to a third, less intelligent position. Alright, the common perception of future Gohan's strength are based on three statements. The first two are available in the manga special depiction of Trunks' timeline called The Lone Warrior. In it, future Gohan is sparring with Trunks, and then they take a break. Future Gohan says Trunks' progress is amazing, and that he could possibly surpass him in a few months. And future Trunks in this panel is weaker than his older self that comes to the future and kills Mecha Frieza, who is weaker than Yardrat Goku. And then on the exact same page, Trunks says future Bulma is shocked whenever she sees Gohan in his gi, because he looks so much like Goku. Gohan then says he wore it because he hopes he could be as strong as his dad, implying he is not as strong as Goku when he died. And then, after a few short years go by after future Gohan's death, future Bulma is speaking to Trunks in another panel when Trunks is saying he is going to go out and face the androids himself, and she says he is not stronger than future Gohan. Although, according to the Herm strength checker, she says he is not, quote, amazingly different in terms of strength to future Gohan, and this is Trunks right before he goes to the past. Now, this has led to a divide between forum fans and more casual social media fans. And when I say that, I'm not disparaging anyone. It's completely fine to be a fan anywhere and however you want. You guys know that is my philosophy. It's just that on forums and message boards, it's more debate heavy, and this time I have to admit the social media fandom has gotten something wrong. You see, the social media fandom believes that all of these quotes mean that future Gohan was weaker than Yardrat Goku. However, they continually forget the very simple fact that Goku did not die from his heart virus immediately after landing on Earth and killing Mecha Frieza and King Cold. In fact, he died 6 months before the android's arrival, which means that for over 2 years, Goku had come back from Namek and had been doing his usual training. And so, future Gohan saying he is weaker than his dad by no means translates to being weaker than Yardrat Goku, but Goku after Yardrat in over 2 years of extra training, so it would be somewhat closer to main timeline Android Saga levels. And so that is the position of the better informed, debate-heavy fans, that future Gohan was not weaker than Yardrat Goku, but just a little bit stronger. Now, that is the main position that I had to argue against back in the day. And the statements do tend to point towards Gohan being weaker than future Goku when he passed, which, again, is much stronger than Yardrat Goku. However, let's look at it more deeply. Firstly, let's think for a second on Gohan saying that Trunks will surpass him in a few months. We can clearly see that he is exaggerating for two reasons. One, he is fighting Super Saiyan Trunks in his base form, and does not seem to be straining, which is an insane feat in and of itself. Either future Gohan is uber strong or future Trunks is super weak. But all in all, base Trunks is a 50th of future Gohan's base strength, which is wild. And the second reason is the last quote I mentioned before this segment, on Bulma stating Trunks is not stronger than Gohan was years ago. If Trunks was going to surpass Gohan in a few months, then he would have done it. Though granted, Gohan dying would have robbed him of a sparring partner, but we also need to point out that if he truly was growing stronger at that kind of rate, then Gohan really did not need to fight the androids. If he just waited 3 months, the two of them would have done much better together. And that's even assuming Bulma really knows what she's talking about. And since it's doubtful she learned to sense ki in the future timeline, we can just assume it's her being a concerned mother. And finally, let's go to the other statement, where Gohan says he wore the gi so he could be as strong as his father. On the one hand, you can read that in a way that tells you that he is not as strong as his dad there, or you can read that in him saying that the gi does not make one strong. But he never actually states that he did not catch up to Goku, just that he thought his gi would help him achieve that. So these statements are really not that concrete once you actually look at them, though I wouldn't fault someone for taking them at face value. As I stated, most people do. But let's go into my old position and see if it still holds water. And for this one, we'll need to do a little bit of math. You see, after future Gohan decides to go and face the androids and he knocks Trunks out, he flies over and kicks Android 17 into a pile of rubble. Now, that's not a good indicator of strength, as many weaker fighters throughout the series can knock someone away without really damaging them if they catch their opponent off guard. It's what happens after that we need to look at. Android 17 gets up, and he and future Gohan have a brief exchange of words. Future Gohan says he came to kill them, and he is far stronger than he was a year previously. But 17 surprises him, saying he was not even using half strength last time, before he charges at a surprised future Gohan. Now, most people would watch that and solidify in their minds that future Gohan is very weak, but you gotta look at what is said more closely. Android 17 says he was not even using half his strength last time, which means it was likely close to half his strength, right? He wouldn't say, I didn't even use half if he was just using, say, 15% of his strength, right? He would say, I didn't even use a quarter of my strength or something like that. Or he'd give a more precise percentage. So with that in mind, we can surmise he was likely using 40% of his strength last time, let's say, and of course he beat up Gohan then. Now, a year later, Gohan comes back to face them both, because he has become stronger than Android 17 at 40% power, or 17 at slightly weaker than half strength, at least. So future Gohan is now there, confident he could beat that, and we also need to acknowledge that he is fully prepared to fight Android 18 too. He did not go to that fight thinking that if he starts beating 17 up, then 18 would just sit around and watch her brother die. Plus, she would know that she would be next anyway if future Gohan won. So now we need to acknowledge that future Gohan has shown up, clearly ready to fight both androids if need be, at what he considers full strength, but what is really 40% strength. And so this means future Gohan must be a couple of steps above Android 17 at half strength, if he is prepared to take both of them on, right? Now, in order to gauge how strong he would be, we need to look at the Ginyu model. Going to Namek, when Captain Ginyu arrives and sees that Goku could fight both Jace and Burter at the same time, he surmises that Goku needs to have a power level of around 60,000, and generally we can guess that the Ginyu Force members are close to 40,000 in strength, or in power level. We don't know their exact strength, but most people believe they are around Nail in strength. They're clearly stronger than Vegeta's 30,000 power level, and while the video games aren't canon, they usually say Raccoon, Jace, and Burter are around 40,000, so let's just be safe and say that's the number. So, with Ginyu's statement, we can do a quick conversion of strength. 40,000 in power level couples nicely with the androids being at around 40% of their core strength. And if a power level of 60,000 can confidently beat up two 40,000 power levels, then logic dictates that someone who is 60% of Android 17's true strength can confidently beat up two opponents that are 40% of that power. So mathematically, future Gohan is likely at 60% of Android 17's true strength, or even higher potentially, which brings him closer to the realms of Android Saga Goku and Vegeta, not Yardrat Goku. Now, the problem with this argument is that admittedly it takes some guesswork and assumptions. Android 17 could have used 35% of his power last time, or 45% of his power, and the Ginyu Force members could be 38,000 or 42,000, but the good thing is that everything still works in the same ballpark at least. So it would only change those calculations by a couple of percentages, really. And either way, future Gohan would be far and above Yardrat Super Saiyan Goku. And even if he was only as strong as Super Saiyan Goku in the Yardrat outfit, I have no idea where people got the idea that that was a low level of power. Yardrat Goku is way stronger than both Namek Saga Goku and future Trunks. Look, Yardrat Goku is way stronger than both Super Saiyan Namek Goku and future Trunks, and in a Super Saiyan form. Look, it stands to reason that Mecha Frieza would not have come to Earth if he was not stronger than Goku was on Namek. That would make no sense. And King Cold would not either if he felt inadequate compared to Frieza. And so these two beings who are at least stronger than Super Saiyan Goku on Namek arrive on Earth. And as we all know, Trunks destroys them. Yet in the manga, Trunks does not give either of them the time to power up or feel him out for weaknesses. And we have no idea how strong Frieza or King Cold was in their forms. Yes, at full power it stands to reason they would be more powerful than Namek Saga Super Saiyan Goku, but people tend to forget that Frieza's final form has different levels of power, and it's quite likely King Cold can transform further. But Trunks attacks them so quickly in the manga, they don't get the chance to power up. And that is Trunks' nature. He knows horror because he grew up in a horrible time, so he won't give an enemy a chance to get up. However, it is in Goku's character to let them power up. Goku would let Frieza and King Cold fight at full strength, and fight together, and yet Goku would still beat both of them, because that is what happens in the future timeline. There is no future Trunks who saves the day there. It's future Goku that shows up and beats both Frieza and King Cold, and would do so after they readied themselves at full strength, which is super impressive. And it's no wonder Yardrat Goku can block future Trunks' sword with his index finger. In fact, I don't think it's far-fetched to say that Super Saiyan Yardrat Goku could probably fight Mecha Frieza, King Cold, and future Trunks at the same time and hold his own, if not win. And if future Gohan is around that strength, that's impressive, because this is Gohan who has no teachers except Piccolo when he was 5 years old, no time chamber, no fusion, no gravity room, and no sparring partner until just a few short years before his death. Even if future Gohan just managed to make it to Yardrat Goku, that would align with a good amount of strength gain. Yet most serious debaters believe he is stronger than that, and if we go by my math, he is likely close to Android Saga Goku or Vegeta in strength. Maybe slightly weaker than them, but close enough to be far more powerful than people tend to say. Now, do I still believe my old math? I kinda do, yeah. But I also won't try and dictate what you should think. If you think he's just a bit stronger than Yardrat Goku, or near Android Saga Goku in strength, I'll leave it up to you. But there's no evidence to suggest that he is only at Yardrat Goku in strength, and certainly not weaker. And even if he was only Yardrat Goku level in strength, that is certainly not weak. Okay guys, thanks for listening to my poo-headed talk. Hope you guys found that informative. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment if you guys want to say anything. I always welcome your comments. Sorry if this was just sort of a power scaling rant, but you know, this is a Dragon Ball channel, it's bound to happen sometime. Okay guys, see ya.